Hi everyone, it's day 15 of 30 days of healing. We have hit our halfway mark already, which is pretty amazing. And I find it pretty interesting that we've hit our halfway mark. And the one thing I was concerned about when I first started this journey happens at the halfway mark. So let me explain. When the angels first said to me that they wanted me to do 30 days, and I think I've said in a couple videos, I hesitated because I thought, I'm a homeschooling mom of two little kids. I run a business from home, plus being a housewife and supporting my husband in his full-time job. How? Not every day is perfect by all means, and that means some days I'm not going to look perfect or feel perfect or want to record a video. And I thought 30 days was a big ask because I know with my health issues as well that there are some days where I feel like doing absolutely nothing, or I have a migraine and it's just not possible. But I trusted in my angels and guides eventually, and 2 weeks later started the course. And while they've kept the headaches to aches, not migraines, real life happens as well. Hi, Cara. Good to have you here. And so the guides have been saying, go on, go do the recording. And there's been a couple days in the 15 days where I've thought, I'm not in the mood to do this tonight. It's been too much of a long day. And not that I didn't want to share with you guys by any means, because I love doing these for you, but just we're all human, right? And we all have moments where we're like, I just want to curl up and do nothing. And twice that's happened in the past, I thought, well, I won't do one tonight, but I'll do one early tomorrow and then another one at night. So I'll do two tomorrow and it'll make up for it. And then the angels reminded me of all the people that have commented and all the ones that have been on live almost every single call. And I didn't want to let anyone down. And I thought it's not just not letting them down, it's not letting me down in the promise that I made. Because how often, and you might not be like me, but they are telling me to say it this way. How often have we said, I won't do it tonight, but I'll do it tomorrow? Or I won't do it now, but I'll do double later. Whether it be exercise or eating healthy or even making the time to sit down and read a book with our little ones, that we get in that space where we're like, I just don't want to do it right now, but I'll do extra later. And then, of course, later we do just enough, or we don't do it, or maybe you do double up, but then you feel guilty that you left it that late or whatever. So that's the emotion they're dealing with today. And of course, today they said to me that I was ready to go and record. And I thought, really, all I want to do is curl up on the couch with a good book and a cup of tea. And so they said, bring the cup of tea with you and show them that. So here you go. I've got a Rebecca mug, and it has the meaning of Rebecca. Apparently it means determined, innocent, and pure. And the determined face, I'm sure my parents would agree with. They also like to call it stubborn. And innocent and pure, I think, we'll take those, even though I don't think they're so true. But Tweety Bird doesn't lie. So if you want to curl up with a nice cup of green tea, then by all means join me. Cara, I'm super glad you've caught me live too, and that you're here with me all the way from Australia. Very cool. So I think in asking them, I was like, well, then what's the point? Is the point of day 15 stop and have a cup of tea? Yes, it actually is. Not an actual cup of tea, but it's okay to stop and take a breath, right? But at the same time, I'm still here recording with my slightly flatter than normal hair and, no makeup and blah, blah, blah. And I don't really care because they told me it doesn't matter, because what matters is the energy of the message. And the other message they wanted to share with us is that when we are journeying through life and we are making the changes to ascend, to expand our spiritual understanding, to change ourselves in a way that we know is for the positive, to release the past and embrace the present, is that there will be some days where the trials and tribulations get us down a little bit. There will be some days where we know what we have to do, and the fear will come up, and we'll push that fear away and go, maybe not today. Maybe I'll do double tomorrow. So Cara just wrote, she's boiled the billy. Oh, that's very Australian of you. So good. Cara's having her cup of tea in Tassie, where it's a lot colder than it is here. You probably need it more than I do. So get your cup of tea. Oh, that's why they said to bring it. Okay. They were just reminding me, and I think there's a chapter in this in my book. If you've read my book, Good Little Church Girl Ascends, pretty sure it's in there, about putting things off. And when it came to me, so when I was switching from being a distance education teacher, working for someone else, and shifting to being a professional life coach and essentially working for myself, my fears came up in spades. Like probably the worst I remember fears over just a life change, like not climbing the Harbor Bridge or jumping out of an airplane fears, but like fears over a change in what ultimately would bring me closer to my life purpose. But you know how your ego likes to hold you back. So all I had to do in order to have my own business, my glasses reflections are bugging me, so they can go. All I had to do was fill out an application for an Australian business number, or an ABN. And the energy I had around it was so fearful that I went online, and it's normally an online application. And they had changed it for some reason, that if you're a sole trader, which for the non-Australian, sole trader is someone similar to self-employed, but no one works for you. Whereas over here in Canada, they call them all self-employed, whether you have employees or not underneath you. So they decided if you were a sole trader that you couldn't apply online anymore, you had to do paper. So then I had to write an email to them and pick the right package of the right application and have them send it to me. Then I had to wait for it to show up at my house. And then I had to fill it out. And every time I had a question that I wasn't sure about how to answer, instead of researching the question to make sure I did the right answer, I shut down and put it away. So we're talking a good 2 months of avoidance of getting an Australian business number. And the funny thing is, as I said, I'm pretty sure this is in the book. Cara can correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you've read it a couple times, that actually filling out the application for the ABN and even getting the ABN didn't mean that I had to have my own business. Nothing actually changes. You just receive an Australian business number. No one was going to fire me from my full-time job. No one was going to make me be a life coach. I just had to fill out the paperwork. But my ego was pretty damn set of keeping me in the straight and narrow way of, it's always worked to work for someone else and have an income, so you don't want to, don't mess with the system. Going out on your own, unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. So where does tea come in? Well, at the time, I had a pretty amazing business coach that was really, really good at business side of things, but didn't believe in all the spiritual hoo-ha side of things. So he and I parted ways eventually. But during the business side of things, he was incredible. And he said to me, that's it, Rebecca. I want you to set a goal. And we talked every 2 weeks. He said, by the next time I talk to you, you would have completed the application. And so one day I gave myself the ultimatum that I was going to sit in front of that computer, because I had to research information to write on the form, and I was going to finish the application and send it off. And I was not allowed to leave my office until the application was completely filled out. Every question, start to finish. And the only exception to that, so that I wouldn't procrastinate, was that I was allowed to make myself a cup of tea. So, you can imagine, this is their sense of humor in reminding me of my tea. It took 4 cups of tea, and I think 2 to 4 hours to get through it all. And I finished that damn application, and I sent it away. And then there was another glitch on their end, and 2 months later I had to call up and figure out why the wonderful Australian tax office hadn't given me my number. And apparently they said it was my fault, but it's really their fault, that particular thing, but they don't take responsibility. And it went on and on and on and on. Anyway, eventually I got my ABN. So the point is, think of all those times that I said something came up to stop me from achieving that goal. The energy I went with into getting the ABN was, this is too hard. This is scary. If I do this, I'm all on my own. And if I'm all on my own, I won't succeed. And abundance will not come. So we all have those moments in our lives where we come up against something that is challenging us. And we have those two options. We can challenge the belief system that's holding us back and go, screw you, I'm doing this, and make yourself sit in that office drinking cups of tea until you're done. Or you can keep letting it push you back. And it's going to happen, right? Then again, if you go into it with a better attitude than I did, and your fears aren't coming up and your belief systems aren't coming up to try and squish you down, and you go in with it to, this is exciting, this is a new adventure, and if I achieve this, then I can achieve my goals in the coolest ways and live my life purpose, which is really amazing. So you know what? Damn it, I'm going to overcome my fears. I can do this. And I have one of those stories too that they're asking me to tell you before we wrap things up. So that was my biggest overcome fear to change my life thing. And yeah, once I got the ABN, I think I started with giving away free coaching sessions. Then I charged $50 an hour. Within 6 months, I was charging $200 an hour for my coaching sessions, and people were more than happy to pay it. I was fully booked. So it was the right move at the time for me, and that was pretty damn amazing. And a year later, it led me to find more about spirituality, but that's another story. So, talking about spirituality, the one time they gave me a huge fear that I was not sure, and they're saying, it's not that we gave it to you. Fine. Life circumstances came up, and I was ready to take the next step along my pathway of discovering myself. And Archangel Michael gave me a nudge. So first I did a channeled message from him. I went and sat under a tree one day, and he gave me a message, and he said, now share this on your blog. So I typed up his whole message and put it as an article on my website, on my blog. And then he said, and now share it. And that was huge for me. I think at the time, it was the first time I acknowledged that I was a channel for divine energy and messages. And for me to put myself out there as a channel when there were other channels that I looked up to that were sharing their messages was difficult for me to overcome, but I just kind of kept doing it. It was like, Archangel Michael's the best mentor. He was like, we'll push you a little more, then we'll push you a little more. And it was like these little hurdles I overcame one at a time. I think if Michael had come to me and gone, you're going to do these amazing energy healings and change people's lives. Oh, and by the way, you're going to channel these like deep healing meditations, run a whole course and all of that. Go. I probably would have stayed where I was and done nothing. But instead, he took me gradually along this path of acknowledging my abilities and my connection to him and to source energy. So the first step was this blog I shared on my website, and you can still find it there. If you go to Rebecca L. for Louise, lfrench.com, and you click on my blog, it'll be message from Archangel Michael about a year ago. And I shared that. And then a month or two later, he said to me, okay, now you're going to channel a live healing meditation from me in the form of a webinar that people can sign up for. And here are the places I want you to advertise it. And again, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? This is like, no, like what happens if 50 people show up on the call and I freeze and I don't hear your voice and I can't share the message and then I look like an idiot? And of course I had to trust that if he was telling me to do the call, that he would show up and help me to do the message, which ended up being amazing. And I've got some beautiful clients who found me through that live healing meditation with Archangel Michael. And so these were the baby steps he gave me. Well, doing that live call, the fears came up again. I had fears around sending out notifications to people. I had fears around operating webinar software that I hadn't used before. I had fears around what people would think. Oh my goodness, what people would think. Like seriously, I was told that I had to advertise it on my Facebook page, my personal one. I have church people on that page, ones that would not take too kindly to me saying that I'm talking to Archangel Michael. And I put it on there. And I was worried about backlash. And I think a couple people might have unfriended me, but I gotta be honest, I don't think I noticed. No one wrote me nasty messages. No one wrote any messages on the announcement. It just kind of happened. And I think the same fears came up around my book, that I was afraid of the backlash. And I put it off for a while because I was afraid of the backlash. And in fact, it's been quite the opposite. I've actually had people that know me from my childhood, from the church that I'm not mentioning in the book, that have contacted me and said, my spouse has walked away from our religion and you've helped me to understand them better and why they made that choice. And even people who are still part of the religion wrote me and said, I now understand you a lot better, and I'm sorry I didn't know the struggles you were going through at the time. So it's actually been a positive connector experience for those still in the church, the ones I was worried about. And of course, the ones that have left along with me, it's been astounding because we all get each other now. We all get that we weren't alone in how we felt at the time, even though we're just discovering each other now. And we can all heal together. So that's the message for today, is feel the fear and do it anyway. Because the awesomeness that's on the other side is beautiful. And you're not alone in overcoming those fears. Your angels, guides, ascended masters, spirit beings that are with you on your soul journey are around you and surrounding you when you're feeling that fear. They're there to help you overcome it, and they're going to be there for you. So you're not alone. You can ask them for help, and you can get to the other side of the fear and see the cool stuff that opens up. That call with Archangel Michael that I was afraid to do, but this time was kind of like an exciting, overcome, fine, I'll do it and see what happens kind of thing. Way better than the ABN debacle. Less things went wrong. Everything flowed. The call went amazing. And I got in touch with some great new people from it. And that was the first step in me realizing that I could channel these healing meditations, and then moved on to the whole entire A Year of Healing course, which is now a 2-year course. So trust people, please. I'm not saying that you're going to end up being a channel for divine energy, and I'm not saying you have to be a life coach, and I'm not saying you even have to drink green tea with sencha added from a cool mug. I am saying that you know what the next step is on your life journey, and even if you don't know, the point is to listen to your heart and to your intuitive messages from your higher self and your guides as to what your next step is. And don't let the fear hold you back from your awesomeness, because you're ready to be awesome. And I'm ready for us all to be awesome together. We all have a purpose here on earth, and we are all incarnated at this time, in this lifetime on this earth, to raise the earth's vibration and to bring more love. Love, love, loving energy. So overcome the fear brings more love. How cool is that? And connection. Lots and lots of connection. Because we are all in this together. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Cara, for boiling your Billy to join me in a cup of tea. And please feel free to share any comments below when you watch this about how this resonated with you, or maybe a fear you've overcome. I also want to give a special shout out to one of my very first coaching clients, who's now in my Year of Healing course and is also a good friend of mine. Tracy, we're thinking of you today during your surgery, and I know you're going to be absolutely amazing, and you'll come out the other side with flying colors and see that this was all divinely meant to be. So sending you special love and hugs today, whether you see this today or after your surgery. Much love to all of you. Have a beautiful day. Bye.